Okay, in this session, we'll be looking at factorization. Okay, so factoring. So, what do we mean by factoring, right? So, there can be different ways in which we can factor. So, what we are trying to do is factoring and unfactoring. Okay, so factoring means breaking into parts, which when multiplied will give you back the given expression. Okay, so let's take a quadratic. Okay, so a simple one, x squared minus 5x plus 6. Okay, so the idea is you have to break the middle term. So here let's understand the general form, ax squared plus bx plus c. So in the general form, if you compare the given question, we have a is 1, b is -5 and c is 6. So the idea is to break this down in two parts, okay, as a sum of two parts. Okay, sum of two parts, the product of which is 6. Okay, break -5 as a sum of two parts whose product is 6. Obviously the two parts would be -2 and -3. Their product will be +6. So if I do that, now whatever goes common from the first two you take. So x is common, and here whatever goes common again you take. So -3 goes common. We try to keep the x as positive inside the bracket, so you take -3. Okay, and next step, you observe that x minus 2 is present throughout, like with multiplied with x as well as with 3, right? So you take that x minus 2 common again and you get x minus 3. So you have got the factors. These two are the factors. At any point, if you equate the factors to 0, so that means if I say that x minus 2 times x minus 3 is 0, that only happens if one of them is 0. So we have either x equal to 2 or x equal to 3, and these are called the roots, okay, or the x intercepts. All right, so the x intercepts or the roots. Now there are other ways in which we can factorize. Okay, so if you are not able to do the middle term, let us say, if you are, this is called middle term, you are breaking the middle term in two parts. So if you are not able to break the middle term, then we have a formula. Okay, so what's the formula? Let's take that again, x squared minus 5x plus 6, and again we have a is 1, b is -5 and c is 6. So the factors are given as minus b plus or minus root over b squared minus 4ac over 2a. These are the roots. Okay, what do I mean by that? If I plug in the values, so b is -5, so negative of -5, so that's 5, plus or minus root over of b squared is 25 minus 4 times 1 times 6, so that's 24, divided by 2a. So that's 5 plus minus root over of 1, that's 1. So that's 5 plus 1, 6 over 2, 5 minus 1, 4 over 2. So these are the roots, okay? So when these are the roots, that means the factors of this will be x minus 3 times x minus 2, okay? So that if you were to equate to 0, you would have got x equal to 3 or x equal to 2. All right, so this is another way in which you can factorize a quadratic expression. So moving on, say 2x squared minus 10x plus 12, if you have something like this and you need to factorize, you have it as 2, right? You don't keep that 2, take out common, okay? X squared minus 5x plus 6, and then repeat whatever we had done for this. So you would have got 2 times x minus 2 times x minus 3, and these are the factors. So 2 is a factor, x minus 2 is a factor, x minus 3 is a factor. Okay, so this is how factorization is done. So first step is take whatever goes common throughout. So if I now, let's say, give you, typically you don't really get cubic or 4th degree factorizations in the ACT or the SAT. So but let's say there are some trivial cases which you might get, say that previous question only, but now I am saying that it is 2x cube minus 10x squared plus 24x, and I need to factorize this. So I see x is present everywhere. See, last time there was no x in the last term, so I could not have taken x out. Here I can take out x. I can take out 2 also. So I take that out. And straight away I get x squared minus 5x plus 12. Uh, let's make this 12 so that it's easy. So this is 12x. Okay, so plus 6. And now this you can again factorize x minus 2 times x minus 3. So the factors are 2, x, x minus 2, x minus 3, and you have actually factored a cubic. Note that any random cubic expression, if they give you to factorize, it will be very difficult and it will not be asked in the test. Okay, so if you tell me, okay, why don't you show difficult cubic factorization, like say randomly x cube minus 7x squared plus 12. Okay, this is a cubic, but can I factorize this? Not necessarily. Okay, I mean, I might not be able to factorize. Okay, so I might try to, for example, if this was for example let's say x squared and x. Okay, x squared and x, so what would we have done? Oh, sorry, x squared and just x to the power 1, I mean. So 7 you would have broken down as 3 and 4, right? So -3, -4 adds up to -7. Product is positive 12. So we can now do this quickly, right? So very simply, we broke it down as -3, -4, which added up to -7. Product was 12. So -3, -4 just comes down as it is. Okay, very simple. And these are the factors. But let's go back to what we had got: x cube minus 7x squared plus 12. Let's repeat that process: x cube minus 3x squared minus 4x squared plus 12. We did the same. Okay, but now x squared x minus 3 minus 4 x squared minus 3. Now really this is x squared minus 3, this is x minus 3, nothing really goes common, right? So even if you were able to do a middle term, kind of, it doesn't work. So that's what I said, that given any random cubic, any higher degree, okay, apart from a quadratic, any higher degree cubic, fourth degree, whatever, anything like that, you might not actually be able to factorize that. So, and you will not be given such a question also, you will not get something like that either. Okay, so what did we learn till now? So we learned first step is breaking down the middle term. So this is the middle term factorizing. Okay, in case you are not able to do middle term, use the formula, get the roots, and then accordingly you break down into its factors. Get it? Doing the reverse logic kind of. Okay, the next step is, if you have cubic and all, or complicated numbers or big numbers, take that constant out and then factorize, or take that variable also out and then factorize whatever is left over. That way you will be able to factorize stuff. Okay, complicated versions, let's say I tell you something like this: x squared minus 1 times x plus 1 minus x plus or plus x plus 1. Okay, say something like this is given. Okay, looks very complicated, right? So how do we factorize this? So whatever, remember this, whatever you think is common, take common. Okay, and here you see that this whole thing is actually common, x plus 1, and here you have an x plus 1 also, that goes common, isn't it? So if that is the case, let me take x plus 1 out. Then what's left here? X squared minus 1 plus 1. Okay, and the good thing is -1 and +1 cancel out, so you have x squared and x plus 1. So you have factorized, nothing else can be done. That's it. Do not straight away jump into multiplying out. So I have seen this very common, that you start out multiplying x times x squared. Okay, you get write something, then x times -1, and then you add up the whole thing, and then again you take. So that's a waste of time. Okay, don't do that. So you always take whatever goes common first and try to simplify it. Alternatively, let us say you are not able to figure that out, and let us say this is a question. So x squared minus 1 times x plus 1 plus x plus 1 is equal to, and there are given like some options. Let's take just 4 options. Okay, so one option, let's say, is our correct answer. Let us say the other options are like this. All right, and we need to figure it out. What's the correct answer for this? So let's say you're not able to, find out by factorizing or anything. So what do? We do substitution. Okay, substitution. What does that mean when I say substitution? So pick any value of x. Okay, so the question is, what is this, right? So here, pick any x which you feel comfortable working with. Say x is, don't take 0, because if you take 0, then you clearly understand, right? All of these options will now become, all of them are 0. So take something else. Say take x as 2. Okay, and plug in the main stem. So in the main stem, what's the value of the main stem? So the value of the expression given is 2 squared 4 minus 1 3 times 2 plus 1 3 plus 2 plus 1 3. So 12, right? This value is 12. Let's calculate the values for each of the options when I plug in 2. So 2 times 4 plus 1 5. So that's 10, not matching. Okay, 4 times 2 plus 1 3, 12. That kind of is fine. But don't just stop here. You might have another 12 somewhere. Okay, so just verify. Okay, here 4 times 1. So that's 4, doesn't match. And here it's 2 times 3. So that's 6, which doesn't match. And you are good to go with only one option matching. And that saves a lot of time. So whenever you have been given a factorization question where the options are the factors, okay, you don't necessarily need to multiply out the options and check which one matches the given form. What you do is just do this. Okay, just plug in some value and see what you get. Try to tally with the x, same value of x you plug in each of the options and calculate what's the answer. And that's why choosing a proper value is very important. So why did I tell you not to choose something like a 0? So if I had chosen x as 0, what would be the problem? See, the given expression, the value would have been negative 1 times 1. So that's negative 1 plus 1. So minus 1 plus 1, 0. Okay, you are very happy. But look at the first option. 0 times something, that's 0, that's also 0, that's also 0, and that's also 0. Now how do you understand which one is the correct answer? So it's kind of wasted time, right? So does it make sense to plug in a value like 0? Say if you had plugged in 1, okay, let's check 1 also. Given expression, so 1 minus 1, so 0 times something, 0 plus 2, so the value will come out to be 2. See, if you think that at any point I'm going fast, just pause the video at that point and go through it again. Okay, so that way it's, you can always go back and forth, right? So I'm just going in a flow. So value is 2, right? So now if I plug in x as 1 here, so 1 times 2, so that's 2. Okay, 1 times 1 plus 1, that's also 2. 1 times 0, so that's 0, that's wrong. And 1 times 0, so that's also 0, that's wrong. But we still have two options. Now we have to again differentiate. So that's the reason why I said, even though you see that you got a 2 already in the first option, don't just stop there. You try out all the others. You might get another 2 somewhere. So to eliminate between these two, pick another value. Now let's say you take x as 2. Then you will find that the only check the first and the second option. No need to check both, right? All the 4. So just check any one. First one doesn't match. Obviously, the second one has to match. If you want, you can just verify it with one more calculation. No need to check C and D. So this is being able to factorize. Okay, so from a disordered sort of a expanded form, you are simplifying it down to a smaller compact form, right? So from a big thing you are going down to a small kind of looking nice kind of a thing. So that's called factorizing. Okay, there's a couple of formulae which you should know, which are very useful. Number one, a plus b squared. Please don't make a mistake of leaving out the 2ab. Okay, a minus b squared, hence can be thought of as a plus negative b, right? So in that sense this becomes minus 2ab, and then the rest is fine. Okay, the third, a squared minus b squared, is the product of these two. So these two you must be thoroughly, it should be very thorough. Okay, so there should not be any doubt about these three. As a result, see, often a squared plus b squared, often people write this is a plus b. Now that's wrong. Okay, because if you say this is true, if you square both sides, then a squared plus b squared will be actually a plus b whole squared. And now from the first one, you know that that's not true. So this is false, right? So you should not make such careless mistakes during the test. Okay, you have to be careful about these things. Now next is the reverse, so multiplying out. Okay, so it's given in a factored form, you have to unfactor it or multiply out, expand it. Okay, so I give you a factored form like x plus 1 times x minus 3, and I ask you which of the following. So how do you solve that? Okay, so x plus 1 x minus 3, when you multiply you should think it like this. First x goes with, let's start with the this side, x goes with x, x squared, then x goes with 1, so plus x, then negative 3 goes with x, so negative 3x, and negative 3 goes with 1, so negative 3. Okay, negative 3 will treat it as x plus negative minus of 3, right? That's how you treat it as. Okay, so when you're multiplying, don't write plus 3, it's negative 3, so negative 3 times positive 1, and then you simplify x squared plus minus 2x minus 3. So that's the unfactored form. Okay, that was pretty simple, right? Now let us say I give you a little tougher one. Okay, so I tell you x plus 1 times x squared minus 1 times x plus say 4, and let's make this 2. Okay, so x plus 2 times x squared minus 1 times x plus 4, and you have to expand this and tell me what, and there are options. Okay, how do you solve this? So there are three ways. Obviously I'll just explain all of them. First, the normal way is just you brute force multiply. So x plus 2 times x squared minus 1. Okay, x squared minus 1, x plus 2, let's multiply x with x squared, x with minus 1, 2 with x squared, make sure that you write the powers correctly, and 2 with negative 1. Nothing goes actually common, you can't group. X cube, x squared, x and 2 are all separate powers, so nothing can be done. So x cube you can at best arrange in order, so x cube plus 2x squared minus x minus 2, done. Now you still have an x plus 4 to multiply, so x with x cube, x with 2x squared, x with minus x, x with minus 2. Next, 4 with x squared, x cube, now writing the lower line, 4 with 2x squared, 4 with minus x, and 4 with negative 2. Now you group them. So x to the power 4 is only once, x cube and 4x cube, so you have a 6, 8 and minus 1, so that's a 7, then again minus 6 and minus 8, so that's your answer. Okay, so this is like actually brute force multiplication. Now I hope there's nothing much to explain in this, right? So let's move on to a second approach. How do we do the other way? So what I do is, so again there will be options. I mean in ACT everything is options, right? I mean you don't get gradients and stuff. So let's take three options. Okay, so one is x to the power 4 plus 6x cube minus plus 7x squared minus 6x minus 8. That's one, our answer. Okay, and let's take two other. Okay, and now we need to figure out what is the answer. So two vital points of doing this methods. Okay, first thing is, do not bother about what lies in between. Okay, because these will be all arranged in decreasing powers, right? So don't bother about what's inside. Okay, forget it. Forget this, forget these for the time being. Just forget these. Just focus on what's in the beginning and what's at the end with the signs. Okay, what's in the beginning, what's at the end, what's at the beginning, what's at the end. Okay, now what's in the beginning here, x to the power 4 or the highest power of x that you get. Okay, that will come by multiplying this x with this x squared and this x. So x with x squared is x cube with x is x to the power 4. So it will be x to the power 4 as the first term, positive x to the power 4 without any other coefficients with it. Straight away b is wrong because it says x to the power 5. Done. Okay, the next step is look at the last term. So what's the last term here? The constant. How do you get the constant? By multiplying the constant. So 2, -1 and 4, just multiply out. What do you get? -8. So the last term will be -8. Whatever comes in between is not my concern. So at the end you must have -8. -8 is here. These two are both +8. So this is ruled out, and again you are left with the only option. So you're done, right? So this is one way of solving. Okay, you don't need to really multiply this whole thing out. Okay, obviously it's a waste of time. This is much faster. Okay, and we will stick to this method. So that's the. Now let us say it's your bad luck that you have got this as an option also. Okay, unfortunately, meaning that x to the power 4 and -8 kind of also match with the first option. So it could be A or D. Okay, it could be A or D. Now which one is it? Okay, we have eliminated B and C, but we're not sure. We are not sure between A and D. How do we get to decide which one? Okay, so what we do is substitute a value. Again, the same logic. Substitute. Okay, here x is not common as such. Okay, you can always try and plug in x as 0. Try to usually avoid it. Okay, because x equal to 0, you will always find multiple options matching. Okay, so substitute some value of x, say x equal to 1. Okay, if I plug in x as 1, what does the given value? The given value was, this is the given question, right? So what's the given value? So x as 1, so that's 3 times 1 minus 1, so that's 0 times something, so the result is 0. Okay, between A and D I need to check which one. So option A is, I'm plugging x as 1, right? So 1 plus 6 plus 7 minus 6 minus 8. So 6 and 6 cancel, 8, so that's 0. Okay, good. What about the option D? 1 plus 6 minus 7 minus 8. So that's minus 15 plus 7. So I mean basically 7 and 7 cancel out, so that's -8. Clearly that's wrong, so that's the answer. And we have the answer. Okay, it's a very fast way. So we'll stick to those two. What are those two? We'll check the first term and the last terms. Okay, the first term comes as a product of the highest powers of x's, and the constant term comes as a product of the constants. Okay, we'll compare those two from each of the options, eliminate as many as you can, and if you still cannot, then plug in some value of x and calculate the expressions value and calculate the value of each of the options and choose the one which looks to be the correct one. So this is in a nutshell factorization.